What if I told you that the most unstoppable force in your life isn't hustle, it's peace, that the calmest person in the room always has the most power? Yeah, let that sink in for a second. Because right now, anxiety and fear are running your life like a puppet master, quietly, constantly pulling the strings. But here's the bold truth: you can live without it. You can wake up without that pit in your stomach, without that heaviness in your chest, and you can take back control of your mind. The power, it's already inside you. It's not about doing more, it's about doing less, differently. Because when your mind is calm, your life becomes unstoppable. Let me ask you something. How much of your life have you already missed because you were stuck in your head? Think about it. How many moments passed you by because you were overthinking, doubting yourself, playing out worst case scenarios like a movie you never even wanted to watch? Fear is sneaky. It disguises itself as preparation. Anxiety hides behind productivity, but what it's really doing is robbing you day after day of presence, of joy, of peace. And here's the kicker: most of what you're afraid of, it never even happens. You've been trained to believe that the louder your mind is, the safer you are. That worrying means caring, that stress means success. No, that's not strength, that's survival mode. And you weren't built to survive your life, you were built to live it. Calm isn't weakness, calm is clarity. It's confidence, it's power. You know what's louder than fear: a calm decision made in silence. You know what destroys doubt: a mind that doesn't react, but responds. That kind of peace, it doesn't come from the outside. It's not something you earn, it's something you choose. You have to train your brain to stop reacting to every impulse, every fear, every thought that says you're not enough. Because your brain, it's just a tool. It's not the master, you are, and when you understand that, everything changes. You stop running from the thing you fear, and you start walking toward the life you deserve. You want to change your life? Learn to sit with discomfort without spiraling. Learn to feel the fear without becoming it. You want real success. Stop feeding the chaos. Start feeding the calm. You don't need to fix everything today. You don't need to solve every problem. You just need to quiet the storm inside. You do that, and the world will open up to you in ways you can't imagine. The power of a calm mind isn't just about peace, it's about performance. It's about living without fear owning you. Because once your mind is free, so are you. And that's when you become dangerous. In the best possible way. Everyone wants to be the loudest, the fastest, the most reactive person in the room. But here's the problem: when chaos breaks out, when pressure spikes, when life throws the unexpected at you, being the loudest isn't power, it's panic, and panic doesn't lead, it follows fear. Most people think calm means passive, slow, even weak. But that's a lie we've been sold by a world addicted to noise. The real power, it belongs to the person who stays grounded when everything else is spinning. The one who doesn't flinch, doesn't chase, doesn't crack. The calmest person in the room always holds the highest leverage. And here's why this matters. We live in a culture that celebrates urgency, glorifies stress, and praises overreaction. But urgency without clarity is chaos. Stress without direction is burnout. Overreaction without reflection is destruction. And yet, we keep doing it. We keep feeding the cycle because calm feels unfamiliar. It feels boring. It feels unnatural, especially when everyone around you is spiraling. So the tension builds. You start to believe that if you're not frantic, you're falling behind. That if you're not anxious, you're not trying hard enough. But that's the trap. That's how fear stays in control. Here's the truth. A calm mind sees opportunities that a stressed mind misses. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough to respond with intention, not emotion. Calm creates the space to think clearly, to act wisely, to lead from strength, not survival. The moment you stop being pulled by the chaos around you and start choosing stillness within you, is the moment everything starts to shift, because calm isn't the absence of challenge, it's the control you keep in the middle of it. Your power D fear is a master of disguise. It doesn't always show up as panic or trembling hands. Most of the time, it's subtle. It slips in quietly, wearing the mask of preparation, control, and responsibility. You think you're just getting ready, you think you're being careful, but underneath that, fear is pulling the strings. It convinces you that the constant overthinking is helping, that the stress is a sign of how much you care. But that's the trap. Fear is hijacking your mind and making it look like productivity. The real tension comes when we start mistaking fear for focus, when anxiety becomes so familiar, so habitual, that we start trusting it more than our own instincts. You wake up, and before you even take a breath, your brain is already scanning for problems, already solving scenarios that don't exist. You check your phone, your to-do list, your calendar, and boom, you're in it. You're chasing control, thinking that the more you plan, the safer you'll feel. But deep down, there's still that ache, that tightness, that exhaustion that never seems to go away, because the brain doesn't rest when it's stuck in defense mode. It only runs, so what's the solution? You have to interrupt the pattern. You have to realize that being on all the time isn't making you stronger, it's draining you. True preparation doesn't come from panic. It comes from presence, the ability to be here now with clarity and calm. When you operate from that place, you stop reacting out of fear and start responding with strength. You stop trying to control everything and start trusting yourself to handle anything. Fear pretends to protect you, but calm is an anxious mind can't make clear decisions. It reacts, it spirals, it overthinks. And when your life is ruled by reaction, you lose your power. You can't see straight. You can't feel peace. You can't lead yourself, let alone anyone else. You think you're thinking things through, but really, you're stuck in a loop, confusing motion with progress. That's what anxiety does. It floods your system with urgency, tricks your brain into chasing certainty, and leaves you exhausted without answers. Here's the tension: most people don't even realize it's happening. You make decisions in a hurry, not because the situation demands speed, but because your nervous system can't tolerate the unknown. You try to solve problems instantly because the silence in between feels unbearable. So you jump, you push, you decide from fear, not from clarity. And when you look back, the decisions made from anxiety rarely lead to the outcomes you wanted. They're scattered, they're reactive, they're defensive. You end up doing damage control over and over again. The shift happens when you stop letting anxiety be the voice you trust. Calm doesn't mean slow. It doesn't mean passive. It means regulated. It means aware. A calm mind doesn't shut down the emotion. It holds space for it, but waits for wisdom to speak. That pause, that breath before the choice, that's where your true power lies. Because when your mind is steady, you can see the whole picture. You can separate the noise from the truth. You don't get pulled into drama. You don't rush to fix what isn't even broken. You don't need more information. You need more inner stillness. From that place, your choices become intentional, grounded, and powerful. A calm decision isn't just smart, it's unstoppable. Let calm lead and watch how everything begins to align. Your brain is not your enemy, but it's not your boss either. It's a tool, a powerful one. But like any tool, it's only as effective as the person using it. And here's where the problem starts. Most people don't realize they're letting their brain run the show unchecked. You hear a thought and you believe it. You feel fear and you follow it. Your brain throws up a scenario and you react like it's truth. That's not thinking, that's submission. That's living as if you're the passenger in a car. Your brain is driving straight into stress, doubt, and burnout. The tension here is real. Your brain is wired for survival, not success. It's constantly scanning for danger, rehearsing problems, creating what, if scenarios, not to help you thrive, but to keep you safe. But safety and growth don't always live in the same place. If you let your brain control you, it will always choose the familiar path, the predictable route, the smallest possible version of you. It's not personal, it's just biology, but you are not just biology. Your awareness, your choice. So what's the solution? Start treating your thoughts like suggestions, not instructions. Not every idea your brain spits out is helpful. Not every feeling is fact. When you observe your thoughts instead of obeying them, you create space, space to decide, space to lead, space to respond. That's where power begins. You take the steering wheel back, you stop reacting and start directing. That's what makes someone unshakable, not the absence of thought, but the ability to separate truth from noise. Your brain is a brilliant machine, but you are the one who decides where it goes. Own that role, and you stop surviving on autopilot. You start creating on purpose. That's when life changes. That's when you change. Most people live on edge and don't even realize it. They're constantly reacting, snapping, rushing, defending, because they've never been taught how to respond. And there's a huge difference. Reaction is automatic. It's survival. It's your nervous system doing the talking, but a response, that's conscious, that's choice, that's power. And if you want to master your life, you have to stop letting your emotions lead your decisions. Here's the tension. We're living in a hyper, triggered world. Everything is urgent. Everyone's offended. We're overstimulated, overtired, and undercentered. You get a text. You panic. You hear a tone. You assume the worst. You're constantly on high alert, waiting for something to go wrong. Your body's tense, your breathing's shallow, and you don't even know it's happening because it feels normal. That's how far from calm we've drifted. The shift starts when you learn how to pause, not for hours, just a breath. One conscious breath between what happens and what you choose to do about it. That breath is the gateway from reaction to response. It tells your brain, I'm safe. It tells your body, I'm in control. And in that space, you gain access to your higher self, the version of you that sees clearly, speaks calmly, and acts with purpose. That's what changes everything. Because when you respond instead of react, you stop handing your power to whatever's happening around you. You don't need to be the loudest person in the room. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to slow down enough to stay grounded. Because in a world full of people who react, the one who responds stands out. Train TH hears the truth. Your mind doesn't need more noise, it needs leadership. And that leadership starts with you, not when life slows down, not when things get easier, right now, because the world isn't going to stop being chaotic. But you can stop letting it control you. You've heard the lies. Fear keeps you sharp, anxiety means you care, stress equals success. But now you know better. You've seen what calm really is. It's not silence, it's strength. It's not stepping back, it's stepping into your life with focus, clarity, and real power. The calm mind is not a luxury. It's a necessity. If you want freedom, if you want peace, if you want to start living instead of surviving, this is the path. So here's your call. Don't just watch this and move on. Take it in, practice it. Choose calm in your next conversation, your next challenge, your next decision. Pause, breathe, lead, because every time you choose calm over chaos, you take your life back. And the more you do it, the less fear has a place in your future. This isn't a theory, it's a choice, and it starts with you. Make the decision today. Be the calm in the storm, and let the world adjust to your peace.